Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Additionally, we have a counterclaim filed by the Yates. Looks like we have excess damages to property, so $1,558.66, and no proper move-out notice, $3,600. We've heard total counterclaim of $5,158.66. All right, so we have both parties present. How this is going to work today is I am going to, since this was brought by Miss Jennings, she will have a chance to speak. I will then turn the attention to the Yates. I ask that one person speak at a time. If one person wants to be designated kind of the speaking, or we can, going back and forth is a little bit difficult, but we'll do our best. And then I will turn the time back to Miss Jennings, and then we'll turn it back to the Yates, since there's a counterclaim as well. I just ask that the parties address the court and not each other. I'm not saying that this is the case in this particular situation with the parties present, but sometimes with these claims, things can be contentious. So we just ask that you guys address the court and not each other. All right, so first, oh, yes, you can unmute. I see you're raising your hand.
We had lost power up here in Kent, so we're on a hot spot. So just in case, I just
I
wanted to let
appreciate
everybody.
that. I appreciate you letting me know that. So in case you drop off, then we'll go from there if that happens. So thank you for that. All right. So Miss Jennings, if you'd please unmute. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. And can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Heather Jennings, Jennings.
All right. So I have had a chance to review most of your exhibits that were submitted. There's no way for me to review what's on the thumb drive. We're just not able to plug them into our devices. It's a security risk for our IT department. But I have, was there photos on this file?
There
Is
was
that
video.
video? Okay.
Mhm.
So I will ask you about that. But just for all parties' sake, I have had a chance to review all the exhibits that were submitted in this case. But for today's proceedings, I would just ask that when we're talking about it, just act as if I haven't seen these. Just there's a lot going on, and so it's helpful to kind of point me in the right direction. But again, just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. All right. So, and Ms. Jennings, I'm going to turn the time to you. I may interrupt you with a question or two kind of here and there. I'm going to let you speak for a little while, hopefully, and I'll clarify as we go if needed. And then if you want to just when you're speaking, just let the court know, I guess, what was on the thumb drive, and then we can go from there. So what would you like to tell me about your claim?
Well, I'm seeking the return of my $3,600 deposit and statutory damages for wrongful withholding. I completed my full 2-year lease, which started September 1st, 2023, ended September 1st, 2025. I didn't claim that the property was left in perfect condition. I acknowledge that there were damages there. There was some spots on the carpet. There was some damaged blinds. There was a patch in the wall that was left unpainted. Some linoleum damage from an existing cut. All the evidence shows that the landlord's deductions and the later claims were inconsistent and contradicted by their own documents. My signed move-in checklist documents all the water damage in the kitchen and issues with the microwave, which I was later charged for. The move-out statement, I was charged for carpet cleaning, and then later correspondence shows that it was not ever performed, that it was only an estimate. They also charged for blind cleaning and sent evidence that there was blind replacement rather than blind cleaning. The cleaning charges were changed over time. They never provided supporting documentation for any of these charges. The move-out closing statements didn't include any charges for insufficient notice, and that issue was only brought up after I challenged the deductions on the closing statements, which you can see on Exhibit E and line 18 of the lease, and a later message that she referred to line 18 rather than line 19 of the lease. The evidence also shows that the landlord withheld the full $3,600 security deposit and claims that I owe an additional $1,558.66, but all of her explanations and supporting documents don't consistently match. So I'm asking the court to deny the counterclaim and order the return of my full deposit and statutory damages.
Okay.
You want me
So,
to
yeah, I'm
go?
going to ask a few questions if you don't mind. So I did review the lease agreement. And I did review the text messages that were submitted, and I know you had included a few in your exhibits as well, and I know that the Yates also included a kind of a string of them. So can you explain to me, you indicated that you were seeking to renew the lease, and then you changed your mind.
Yes, that is correct. I never signed a lease.
Correct.
I was going to. I had some issues come up. I work at a jail. I had to, there is a stalker situation. So I chose not to renew my lease for safety reasons for myself and my children.
Okay. Okay, and lease termination fee. Let's see. And you notified them, I believe it was on the 29th or the 30th that you were not.
I believe it was the 28th.
28th. All right, yeah. So it looks like, and when did you move everything out? Was that on the 31st?
Yes, I was completely out by the 31st.
I'm just writing notes, so please bear with me.
That's okay.
I want to make sure I get all the dates right. All right, August 30th was without. And upon move out, what did you receive from the Yates?
I got the move out closing statement, which is Exhibit C.
Okay.
On September 22nd, I received that.
Okay. And that was the closing statement. I see. Okay. And then you had highlighted for cleaning, carpet cleaning, blind cleaning, key lock replacement, and goods removal with miscellaneous supply and I don't know
Yeah,
what that is.
accommodations. I'm not really sure still what that even means.
Okay.
It's over $2,100 in cleaning fees.
And you received the photos that were submitted by the Yates?
I did, yes.
Okay, and I did review the move in, check in, and check out. Let's see. Did you receive the full checklist that had the condition on departure from them?
Yeah, that was completed by, I don't even know when that was completed because that wasn't completed with me. And there was no dates on when that was completed.
Okay. Kitchen. And I noticed that the kitchen, you mentioned that the microwave, I saw the photo, like the handle was off or something like that. And so you're
Right,
saying
and
it was inconsistent?
so on my move-in checklist,
Yeah. It says light stay on.
yes, which I wasn't aware at the time because I hadn't used the microwave. The handle was already broken. When I first touched it, the thing fell off. I didn't even use the microwave the entire time I lived there. I had one plugged into the wall on the counter.
Okay, but it wasn't noted that the handle was.
No, because the handle was like propped on there
Okay.
So when I touch it, like it never latched. That's why the light stayed on, because the handle was broken.
Okay. And then I do note that there was the dishwasher, the floor in front of the dishwasher looks water damaged, but there's no leaks. And I'm looking at all the photos and like there were some that show a decent amount of water damage in some area. Was that the dishwasher area?
So it was behind that, but underneath the sink, which I also sent messages of, I
Right.
noticed the water leaking when I was cleaning from underneath the day that I was cleaning on August 31st. I was taking things from under the cabinet. There was a lot of water in there, and I did send them a message, let them know that I looked for a shutoff valve. I cleaned up
I
all
did
the
see that.
water. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not something that I caused. There was pre-existing damage already there. And then I did report the leak at move out when I noticed it.
So wait, there's pre-existing damage, but it sounds like only the front, but this was under the sink. So it wasn't noted. I don't see that in the move-in checklist.
Well, I didn't look underneath the sink, but there was damage to the flooring right there. And then I have,
Well, it says sink, plumbing, and faucet says good on the move, condition on arrival, which you did sign up on, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So you received the statement, closeout statement, and then I did see that you followed up a few times, asking for supporting documentation,
yes.
and that was received when?
Apparently I had missed a letter. I don't know. It must have gotten returned back to them.
October 2nd.
October 2nd was the first letter that I had sent, or that they had sent back. Let me go through
So it did sound like they did send documentation on October 2nd.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
So
they sent a letter with some for the other damages, which was listed in the move out closing statement. They sent a letter, which was Exhibit E on there.
Yes,
which
that's
was
the one I'm referring to.
Some more charges, but no like receipts or invoices or anything at that time.
But it does say you will find documentation to support the repair. So did they not?
No, there was no, this letter was the only thing that was received at that time. There was no documentation that was included with this letter.
You received this via USPS mail, or is this an email?
It was certified mail.
Okay. You said you received so we received one piece of paper.
Yes, it is correct.
And then we have a few other follow-ups from January and February about documentation.
Yeah, so October 17th, I had sent another letter. That would be Exhibit F, requesting the documentation. Then I sent another one in January because apparently they sent one at some point, but it was returned to them. I never received it, which dated February 3rd.
Okay.
That's Exhibit H. And this is the final letter that I had got from them. And Exhibit I was the one that I had missed.
So the 30th under I?
Yes.
October 30th, that was the one you missed?
That was the one I missed.
So this one had a bunch of invoices attached to it?
It does.
Did you eventually receive it?
Yes, I received this. Would have been March, I guess, from her documentation. It was dated February 3rd.
Yeah, and I think we have an unclaimed ticket, so that's okay. But they did send you the documentation.
They did.
Okay. And you also made statements today for your testimony that they sent you estimates for the cleaning amount, for the carpet cleaning, excuse me. So it looks like a cleaning amount of $750 is for a deep clean of the entire home, which they did themselves. And also included the estimate for the carpet cleaning that they did not use because they had to eventually repair it or replace it entirely.
Correct. But on the move out closing statement, I was charged $1,300 for cleaning. And in this October 30th letter, she said it was a $750 claim fee.
Okay.
And then,
Are you disputing the condition, I guess, that was the residence was left?
yes, she wrote that it was filthy and uninhabitable. Like, I cleaned it. It wasn't a turnover rental clean, but I did clean it. There were some damages
You
naturally as
didn't
there.
clean it as much as you wanted, is what you
Right.
had stated, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I did clean it. It wasn't rental turnover clean.
But it was in worse condition.
There were some damages, yes.
There was some damages, okay.
Yes.
Uh,
And on the videos, I do have them on here. I don't know if
I just
like
haven't had a chance to review it, so why don't you tell me what's in the video?
it's just a basic walkthrough of the damages that you could see. They had referred to there being vomit left in the family room. It was not vomit, it was Gorilla Glue that got stuck on the carpet. I have the video where you can see the spot there. There was some other spots in another room upstairs, two of the rooms upstairs, and in the family room.
Okay. There's a lot of before and after photos that were submitted. So you received the before photos. Is that an accurate depiction of how the residence was left?
Yeah.
Okay. Damage to the blinds.
Yep.
There's some holes in the wall, some carpet issues. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you would like me to know?
Just with the invoices for exhibits. Let me see which one that is. H, I believe. All the invoices, like the carpet replacement, the ER flooring that they included, was dated 10/22 for the invoice. The other invoice for the HOC contractors was dated September 22nd, which was 3 days after I received the move out closing statement. So I'm not sure how it's being charged for things already that they didn't even get invoices.
Well, you had left the premises, so they had it since September 1st.
I
Right?
don't see the dates on there, but it says
I'm asking you, like the invoice I'm looking at, you said 9/22.
yeah,
That was
and
the
I had
invoice. You're
left.
saying how could that be turned, but you exited the premises, so they had it since September 1st, right?
Yeah.
So that seems reasonable that's a time, so I guess what is your concern about that date on the 22nd?
The move out closing statement was dated September 19th, but the invoice is dated 3 days after.
Okay. Looks like that was a day it was. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, the estimate for the carpet cleaning, it says estimate, but I was charged for carpet cleaning.
Okay.
And I was also charged for a hotel, I guess twice, which is listed on the contractor's statement. And then a invoice that they included. Also, the Home Depot receipt. There are multiple packs of outlet covers, 10 pack, 10 pack, 10 pack. None of those in the house were damaged. They might have had scuff marks on one of them that they included.
I mean, I will say I do recall seeing some outlets
Yeah.
damaged.
But not 30 of them.
Okay.
There's also a tape measure listed in here. 3 toilet seats. The toilet seats were not damaged. There's a level listed in here. Those are tools. I don't know why those were included. 5 or 10 gallons worth of paint, which seems excessive.
I think they had to paint the whole unit, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Okay.
what
All
the,
right. All right. So, thank you, Miss Jennings. I am going to turn the time over to the Yates. You'll have a chance to speak again. All right. So if you can mute yourself, and then we have James and Rowena Yates present. If you could please unmute. I'm going to have you one by one raise your right hand. So Miss Yates, why don't we start with you first? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. And can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Rowena C. Yates, Yates.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Yates, can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. And can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Full name is James Andrew Yates. Last name is Yates.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. So if one of you would like to speak first, and then yes, what would you like to tell me about defending the claim and then the counterclaim?
I can give you, I'm not really great. My wife's probably better, but I can give you the gist of it all. The microwave in one of the exhibits, the photo that's shown, the light is not on in the microwave. The handle's on. Everything is in good working condition. I tested it out myself before anybody moved in. I put a new faucet, brand new faucet in that sink before move-in as well. Everything was working. There was no leaks, no nothing. There was a leak when we went and got the unit back, but it was from the handle. And the only way that happens is if somebody's jamming on the handle and messing with it. There was no
handle
leaks
from the dishwasher?
from the sink.
Oh, from the sink. Okay.
The dishwasher, yes, there was a leak, but that was 2 tenants ago, and the vinyl was a little, darkened because of that. But that was fixed. All that was repaired. There was no water damage at all on that.
Okay.
And then the vinyl, the vinyl, there was no damage to that vinyl. And then when move out was happening, there's another exhibit showing that the vinyl was torn. And then you can see the wet spot on the, and this is the exhibit that was given by Miss Jennings, the wet spot that was on the cabinets from the leak that was never reported to us until after the move out.
No, well, during the last day.
And so just for clarification's sake, I think it was the last day of the 31st that she informed you of the leak, so the last day of her.
Correct. So this had been going on quite a while for that kind of damage to happen. The whole base of that cabinet had to be ripped off, repaired, and there was mildew and mold behind that as well that had to be cleaned as well.
Okay, so let's walk me through. So she informs you that she wants to renew the lease, then informs you on the 28th that she chooses not to. And then you tell her that she has until the 31st, right, to get all of her stuff out. And she moved out essentially on that date.
She did. But the thing is that on my lease, it shows on number, it's the first page of it. It shows, where is that? That they should at least give me 2 months heads up that they're going to move out. She didn't, since the end of lease was August 31st, she was to give me a call or shoot me an email 1st of July. And she didn't do that. So I called her I texted her August 1st, and I had said, hey, Heather, I haven't heard from you. What are you thinking about, the lease is coming due, and I just wanted to know what your plans were. And I had given that to you in my plethora of evidence and pictures. And she said that, yes, I was going to talk to you about that because I'm thinking my mom is going to move in with us. And what do you guys think about that? And so I talked to Jim about it, and I told her, I said, that's fine, but she's going to have to be on the lease and this and that. And I asked her for all the names to be on the lease, and she gave it to me. And then I said, great. And then I did all the numbers for her to renew the lease.
Okay.
And then come end of August, well, okay, so can I just back up?
Yeah.
Someone had called me from another like apartment complex and asked, is this Rowena Yates? Do you have a tenant named Heather Jennings? And I said, yes. And she goes, oh, I was just calling for rental reference. And I said, oh. And it kind of like, I kind of like stepped back a little bit because we had talked about her possibly renewing the lease. And then for a call that I get, I was thinking, okay, I'm not understanding. So then she said, so then I said, well, I need to call you back. And so then I asked Heather about it, and she said, yeah, I went to go and apply to another place to see what I can get approved for. I can't remember what she said basically, but the lady called for rental reference. I told her I'd call her back, and then I had to talk to Heather first. So then fast forward, she said, oh, I'm going to renew the lease, this and that. And I think it was like the last 3 days of August that she just said, I can't renew the lease. And I'm thinking, okay, well, she was putting me in a spot where she was supposed to give me a 2-month, heads up. She didn't. I had to call her, and then a rental place called me, and then she goes, oh yes, I want to renew it. Put my mom on there, and she leaves just like that. And I had told her, I said, I should get 20 days prior to the next rent payment due. And she said, well, we're going to leave this weekend. And so I said, okay. I mean, there was nothing that we can do. And so that's what she didn't give us proper notice.
Okay, so I'm seeing it's number 19, I think, in your lease agreement, the surrender of premises section, that as tenant will need to give at least 2-month proper move-out notice prior to surrendering premises.
Yes.
I think the from everything, the text message and what Miss Jennings had stated, that was on the 28th of August, so that would be 3 days prior to September 1st, which I think with the lease agreement, technically the term ended 10 a.m. on September 1st, 2025. So, but we have no prior notice beyond 3 days. Okay, and so when you find out that she has moved out, it's September 1, and you guys do the move out closing statement. So this is on the 19th?
Well, we were there the next day.
Right.
Yeah. And
I'm assuming not all of this was done on the 19th, but
yeah. I mean, it took us some time. It took us some time just because of the condition of the home. I mean, I took pictures, and I do have video myself, and I had asked the clerk at the courthouse, I have video, and I heard that you don't accept. Yep. Yeah. And so I did a full video of each room, which is relation with the pictures. Mm-hmm. But it took us a while because we couldn't believe the condition of a home. And then there was what we thought was throw up. Mm-hmm. She had said it was Gorilla Glue, but I think Gorilla Glue is very hard to take out of the carpet.
Well, it's super glue.
Yeah. So it took us a lot of time to get the house back into where it was when she moved in.
Okay. And so
the amount of damage. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The amount of damage, I walked in, and the amount of damage was substantial. From the cabinet, just looking at the cabinet, I already knew that they had to be reskinned. That takes a lot of money, a lot of time. lot of, it takes a lot of time. And the carpet, the vinyl,
And we,
the wall repair, there was a ton of wall repair. And to paint that whole house, not only was it just the walls, I had to paint the ceilings. I had to paint all the ceilings as well. I had to paint every room. The vinyl siding outside was damaged. On the side of the house was damaged. It wasn't damaged when she came in. It was a ton of damage to try to work through and try to get everything all set up.
So just kind of I'm going through the breakdowns just so I know kind of what receipts go with what. So the move out charges, the painting is pretty obvious. It sounds like there was, I think Miss Jennings indicated there's like a 5 or 10 gallons purchased. And then you had stated that you'd painting the entire, was that used to paint the entire premises?
Yeah.
we just all went white.
Yeah. Painted it all back.
All right. And the next we have is $1,300 for cleaning. Can you kind of,
Well, okay, so that, the October 3rd letter that she didn't pick up,
mhm.
that says it's 750. I kind of like put it all together. But 750 was for me myself. I've had a cleaning lady here. She charged me $150 for 3 hours.
Mhm.
And so that's how I got that 750, because it was a lot of work. And I mean, my kids, they did some work, but I mean, for me, it was a lot of work.
It took us two and a half days to finally clean that house.
I think a lot more, but
Well,
So you guys did the cleaning yourself, with the exception of, I guess, replacing the things that needed to be replaced.
right,
correct.
right. And I have pictures that you have that
Yes.
to show what we had to clean. And yeah.
And on the paint, I'm not even charging anything for the paint on my labor. I just charge for the cost of what it cost me for the paint. I mean, to paint a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house, it's probably $1,500 out there.
Okay. And so for the cleaning, you did it yourself,
Mhm.
and you based it off of kind of $150 per hour.
No. Well, it was okay. So I had a cleaning lady ourselves, and she charged me 3 hours for $150.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you based it off of, so it was like $50 an hour basically for the
Yeah.
cleaning. Is that what you estimated your cost, the labor that you put into it?
Right. And I even think that it was more than that, but I just wanted it to be clean.
Okay. And you said it was 2 to 2.5 days of cleaning, and you were spending, was it full days worth? I'm just trying to understand the labor, because if landlords repair or clean themselves, it's, different analysis. So,
Well, okay, so we don't live in Kelso, so we went there as much as we can, and we may have done like 1 day here or a few days or a few hours, throughout the whole cleaning process and getting it back together.
okay, so all right, and then the carpet cleaning was separate. You have in the move out closing statement is $599.70.
So that is
The
for
estimate, correct?
well, that's the ER flooring.
Oh, the ER flooring. Okay.
Yeah. It's for the recycling,
Okay.
the vinyl home front, the floor prep, and the trip charge.
So this wasn't just carpet cleaning. This did include the replacement for the carpet.
No, we didn't even charge her for replacing the carpet. We paid for it.
Oh, you guys, so this charge is only for, well, I mean,
Yeah.
you're asking for $599.70 out of the
Right.
$38.35 you paid?
Right. Because
3,835.
yeah. We just charge her for the vinyl. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that carpet cleaning cost is for vinyl.
Yeah, the $5.99, the $5.99.70 is the recycling,
I
the
see.
vinyl, the floor prep, and then the trip charge.
Okay. So those are, I see the recycling, vinyl floor. Okay, perfect. And those are document itemized on the invoice.
Yes.
All right, and then the blind cleaning. Did you replace the blinds, clean the blinds?
We took a couple of them out. The master bedroom, I don't know if you can see the picture for the master bedroom blinds. We took all that out. We thrashed it. We threw it away. And then was there another one?
Yeah, there was the two in the living room that we had to take down because they were broken. And then the one in the master was broken. And then the one in the back bedroom was busted as well.
Okay.
92.
And then, all right, so the blind cleaning, that $292.72, was that to cover the cost of replacing the blinds and then cleaning, or
Replacement.
just cleaning?
Replacements.
Okay. And then $24.98 for key lock replacement. Was that?
What did she put on there? Hold on.
There was a lock that was put on, we had to remove and put a different lock on it.
Yeah, and then she also, we didn't do anything with this, but she also added a ring to the house, which we didn't get.
I think I noticed that on the move out checklist as well.
Yeah, she didn't ask for that. And we had no idea until we saw it.
Okay.
So I don't know what she did with the doorknob or the doorbell.
Yeah, the doorbell had to be redone.
Yeah.
And then the goods removal, what was this charge for?
The goods removal, I think it was, hold on. Was it HOC?
Yeah, that was the cleanup, yeah.
Was that the?
I want to say it was the HOC.
Okay, the HOC contractors, that was the 922 receipt. Looks like they did quite a bit of stuff.
They did, yeah, they did 2,692.75.
There was a lot of cleanup that had been done outside.
Yeah,
Oh, it looks like the removal disposal of 2 rat boxes was $100.
Yeah, someone had put rat boxes
good.
on there. There was a dog, and there was no dog in the lease,
Yeah,
but there was dog feces all over the
backyard.
backyard. It had to be cleaned up. They cleaned that up.
Okay, so we're gonna continue just down the list. The repairs, $991.39. What is that repairing? Is that just a general every total?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the HOC, so how I got this was the HOC was 2,692.75.
Mm-hmm.
ER flooring is 599.70.
Yes.
Ourselves was 1,866.21. Total is 5,158.66 minus security deposit, and then that was the total amount that was over.
And there looks like there was unpaid utilities, other damages, lawn cleanup and pet waste removal, and then this miscellaneous supplies, how did you get to the $332.53?
That was, I want to say that was Home Depot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see that receipt in here. That is for $332.53. Did you have to replace, outlet covers?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things mentioned.
Outlet covers, light switch covers, yeah.
Okay. And then what is accommodations? What is this charge?
What was that?
The accommodations charge.
Oh, a hotel room.
For
For the No, it was ER form?
HO.
HOC.
Was that standard practice to put them up in a hotel?
Well, it was overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how come it says the receipt is $139.60, but on the check, the statement says $418.80.
Hold on. The guest house was $139.60. And what was the price on it?
So I have $139.60 on the actual invoice from the guest house.
Mm-hmm.
And then on your move out check closing statement, it says accommodations $418.80.
Hold on.
Was that ours? That was when I went to, is you talking the Motel 6, and I stayed down there by myself, and then you guys came down too. It's probably a combination of me being down at Motel 6 one night and then they coming down to help.
I don't think I have receipts for.
No, you don't.
So,
Well, okay, so with the numbers that I just read off, that may have not been accurate at that time. I have no idea now. But the 1866.21 was ourselves, which includes the guest house.
1866. Where's
So that would equal to paint, key replacement, the utilities, Home Depot, the guest house, pet fee, and cleaning.
okay. All right. So you sent this statement on the 19th. So that's, 19 days after you found out that she was not going to be a tenant anymore. And when did you supply her with the documentation for bills, invoices, receipts?
Hold on. The first time?
Yes, when is the first time you sent her any receipts?
It was October 30th, which is the one that she did not claim.
Okay, but you did send it, the documentation.
Yes. Yep. And I still have it, in fact, and it's not even open. So it's right here. Yeah, it's October 30th.
And you sent her all of the receipts and stuff that basically the court has right now?
I did, yep.
With the exception of anything, I guess, after that date, right?
What, Jim? I'm sorry, what was that?
So I'm saying if there was any charges after the 30th of October, I don't know if there were any, but let's see.
Right, that was the all the invoices and all that stuff.
Okay, so October 30th.
And then I heard from her February 18th.
Right.
Asking
for more, and you resent the documentation?
I did. And that was that letter, that was dated February 3rd, but it was March 3rd.
I see it says should read March 3rd, 2026. See certified mail receipt.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you wish to tell the court? You'll have an opportunity to speak one more time, but
so when she was saying, okay, so I don't know if for sure, well, maybe then I shouldn't even say it, but there were boxes of food being delivered to the house. And we don't live there, and it's happened a few times. And we made friends with the neighbors, because we lived here or we lived down there.
mhm.
And they had texted me I'm not sure, like 3 times or 4 times, I'd have to check back with my text messages saying, you have a box. You have a box. And this was after Miss Jennings had left. And I kept on saying, okay, we'll be down there and we'll take it. And when I looked at the box, it was her mom's name on it. And I'm not sure, you know, whatever, it was food. And so I don't know how long it was there, but it's happened a few times. And I'm not even sure if it's still happening. But my point is that it was, her mom was never on the lease, and she was getting food being delivered to the house. And then with the feces in the backyard, she had a dog which she didn't, you know, authorize. She didn't get authorization from us. In fact, we went down there.
We went
Because
down
we
there
had-
to serve papers because she was late on rent. And we put the paper in the door, and that's when we heard the dog
Yeah.
barking loud inside.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask you guys to mute and Miss Jennings. You did not give 2 months notice, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you had about they had about 3 days notice.
Right. But line 18 of the lease talks about after the lease ends, if I choose to stay. So I completed my full 2-year lease. She never referred to a 2-month notice, not once the entire time.
Well, it's on the lease. It said on expiration of the term hereof, tenant shall surrender the premises. Tenant will need to give at least 2-month proper move-out notice prior to surrendering premises.
Uh-huh.
So you did sign that. That is a
Yeah.
portion of your lease agreement.
I was under the assumption that once my lease ends, then I'm no longer under contract.
Well,
that
it would have
was
had
not-
to have been done while you were still under the lease agreement 2 months prior.
But my lease ended and I chose to move out.
The terms of your lease indicate that upon expiration of the term hereof, so at midnight on September 1st, 2025, you shall surrender the premises in a good state, as good a state and condition as they were at the commencement of this agreement, reasonable use and wear and tear thereof, and damages by the elements accepted. Tenant will need to give at least 2-month proper move-out notice prior to surrendering the premises. So even if you're not renewing your lease, you still need, under your terms, under the lease you signed, that would need a 2-month notice.
Okay, but I did, in our conversations, I asked her, I didn't really plan on renewing my lease. She did not mention that anywhere. And line
But you were
18
aware of this term.
Yes.
Okay. And it is your signature on the lease.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you're stating you did receive the move-out closing statement it was completed on the 19th of September. And it
Yes,
was
and I received it.
forwarded to you. You received that around that date?
Yes, on the 22nd I received it.
Okay, you received it on the 22nd. And then you stated that you did not receive the documentation that was provided to you that was sent via certified mail. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. But you've eventually gotten the receipts after you had contacted them in February?
Yes.
But you were aware that they were keeping your deposit on when you found out September 22nd?
That is correct.
With the kind of itemized list that we went down, I know you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things highlighted.
Mhm.
Are those the ones that you're disputing or wanting to bring to the court's attention?
Yeah. Most of them, yeah. And then lawn cleanup and pet waste removal. The backyard was a little overgrown, not crazy. There was no pet waste left.
Did you have a dog?
I did have a dog, yes.
Okay. And you heard their testimony that there was dog feces in the backyard?
Yeah, I did hear them say that, yes, but I
Did
cleaned
you
everything.
you cleaned everything up in the backyard?
Yes, I did. I didn't mow the backyard because I couldn't get the fence is kind of broken and I couldn't get the lawnmower back there. So I didn't mow that, but I did mow the front.
Okay. So it's not highlighted. So the reason
Yeah.
so you're disputing that one as well then?
Yes.
Okay. So you're disputing I guess the blind replacement?
Yeah.
Did you think
I
that
mean, well, no, there was a few that needed replacing, but again, that wasn't included in like the Home Depot. I didn't see blinds on there.
I think it was in a different receipt.
From these invoices, maybe.
Yes. And what about the key and lock replacement? Did you have a lock on a door that they couldn't access?
No.
And what about the Ring camera?
There was a Ring camera installed, yes, but there was no lock that needed replacing or keys.
So I think they said that there was a lock that they had to like replace the doorknob or something, a door handle.
There was no
Or
lock
cut
that needed
that, and then-
replacement, to my knowledge.
What about the doorbell? So did you leave the Ring doorbell there?
I did, yes.
Okay. And did you have two rat boxes at the premises?
Yes, there was. The neighbors had rats next
Okay.
door, really bad, and they were coming in. So I did pay
Okay.
for a exterminator that came out, and yep.
Okay. Are you disputing the goods removal?
Well, I wasn't unsure. I was unsure of what that
Okay.
was. I
Sure,
didn't get
that's
any of that documentation until later.
right. I think they sent it in October, but it doesn't sound like you got it.
Exactly.
Okay. But not disputing the repairs or unpaid utilities, other damages, or the pet fee?
The pet fee, no. Mm-mm. The accommodations, the miscellaneous supplies, I don't feel like a lot of those charges, because things were not damaged, why I should have to pay for those, like toilet seats and whatnot. Hotels, I don't feel like that is anything that was directly related to damages caused by me. So I don't feel like I should have to pay those.
So what is your level of understanding? What damages do you think? Is this normal wear and tear? Is this
For what exactly?
just in general? Everything.
Outside of the kitchen, which wasn't caused by me, I mean, yeah, normal wear and tear for like the little marks from the doors where the locks were.
Sure. What about the carpet stains?
The carpet stains were damages that would have been caused by me, but I don't think that was beyond, like, I don't think it was enough
Is there an earring in the carpet?
I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. But I don't think that the whole carpet needed to be replaced. And she did include on the lease that she was going to charge me $0 for carpet cleaning. She mentioned at move-in, that's on line 4, that the carpet needed to be replaced already, and wrote $0 so that she wouldn't charge me for it. And then there was little things around the house. I lived there for 2 years and I do have 4 kids, so there was some damage, yes.
And so you're saying this water damage under the sink? Because it is, like, looking at the photos, it is a significant amount of water damage, and we have testimony now that there was mold and mildew as well.
Yeah,
so that's generally not a day's worth.
I did not notice anything until move out, and I reported it when I did notice it.
Okay. But that would have been.
It was at move out that I noticed it, yes.
And you received all of the photos from, and I guess like I can't tell, there's a lot, like the cleaning, the kitchen is
underneath it, yep, where the fridge was. I didn't move it because I didn't want to mess up the linoleum more. It's heavy. I was doing everything by myself because I did choose to move out quickly.
So I'm just looking through all the photos.
And then the invoices that they included, both of those, I don't know if that's relevant or not, were these contractors are located like 2 hours north of the property. I'm not really sure why. they chose to choose those ones rather than ones that were in, like, that's part of where the one of the hotel charges was.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wish to tell the court?
No.
Okay, so thank you. I'm gonna ask you to mute and then I'll turn my attention towards the Yates. Is there anything else that you wish to tell the court in response to what Ms. Jennings said? This is, we have a small claims and we have that you have filed a counterclaim, so I want to give you an opportunity to provide any additional information as to the actual counterclaim itself, because we had the 1558.66 excess damage to property that was beyond what you're saying is beyond the security deposit, and then no proper move out notice for the $3,600.
No, other than she had just admitted that she had a dog, but wasn't on the lease.
Right.
So, if you look at the picture of the fridge, Your Honor, the handle's busted off. When I went down there and I saw it, it was the worst I've ever seen it before in my life. So to say that this is normal wear and tear, it's not normal wear and tear. To leave the carpets the way they were, to leave the vinyl the way they were, and say that you cleaned it, anybody can see that it wasn't cleaned. Not to a livable standard.
Did you replace the toilets? I did have one of the exhibits, the toilet seats. Did you have to replace
Yep.
some,
replaced
all toilet
all of them.
seats?
All of them. All of them.
And then the damage under the sink. You stated that, so you said you had to get the mold and mildew removed? Is that?
HOC did that for us.
HOC, okay, so I wanted to make sure, so they actually performed
They
the
went in,
professional cleanup.
Yep, they went in, they took everything out, and that's where the cost came in.
There are a few pictures of them with the, what do you call it, skin off,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, yeah, the skin of the cabinets off, the
Yep.
fake wood graining
Yep.
appearance of it. Yes, okay. All right. All right, so I am about to make my ruling. Prior to doing so, I am adopting and accepting the exhibits into the record for the appellate. All right, so just going through everything we have here. So we have a lease agreement where we have very strict terms in regards to security deposit, when the landlord can maintain or withhold the security deposit, what's required. There's also subsection 19, which is the note 2 months notice for surrender of premises. Let's see. We have a bunch of receipts. We had the move out closing statement that was dated September 19th, 2025, which I believe Ms. Jennings indicated she received on the 22nd. So looking at RCW 5918-280, it does require a landlord within 30 days of either the termination of the rental agreement and vacation of the premises, or if it's abandoned within 30 days after you learn of the abandonment. It shall give a full and specific statement for the basis retaining any of the deposit and any documentation as required in subsection B, together with the payment of any refund due to the tenant under the terms of the agreement. And then it looks like with compliance, they're within 30 days, looks like if it's deposited in the mail within the 30 days, then it is deemed to have been compliant. And then looking at the statement that is required with that RCW, it requires the landlord to include copies of estimates received or invoices paid to reasonably substantiate damages charges. Where repairs are performed by the landlord or landlord's employee, if a deduction is made for materials or supplies, the landlord shall provide a copy of the bill, invoice, or receipt. The landlord may document the cost of materials or supplies already in the landlord's possession or purchased on an ongoing basis by providing a copy of the bill, invoice, or receipt. Where repairs are performed by the landlord or landlord's employee, the landlord shall include statement of the time spent performing repairs and the reasonable hourly rate charged. So going through the evidence, I'm kind of basing a lot of this on the move out closing statement. So, because that's where the $1,558.66 is. Looking at, we have a few things going on where I think both parties have, well, not necessarily complied to the exact letter of the contract, the lease agreement that we have here. Ms. Jennings did not provide 2 months notice. That generally puts landlords in a bind when they're looking to release a unit. If you only give them 3 days or 2 days notice, that is a very short turnaround to try to release it, which is why most landlords put that clause into most rental agreements. The other thing right now, statutorily, looks like we have the move out closing statement that was sent within the 30 days, and then the documentation was sent after that time period. However, we do, because of the time frame that the Yates were working with, we kind of have this situation where they can't get in necessarily and get those invoices and sent to you. It looks like a lot of those invoices were done. Let's see. So we had the estimate for things. We have 9/22 is when the invoice came in for the HOC, which was after the move out closing statement. Same thing, invoice date for the flooring was October 22nd. That was after the move out. And then we do have testimony, and I have the exhibit of the certified mail envelope that was sent October 30th, I believe was the date, for all the documentation that was requested. Looking at the letter that was sent on October 30th, it does say the cleaning amount, $750, is for a deep clean of the entire home, which I did myself. I've also included the estimate for carpet cleaning that we did not use because it was not guaranteed if any and all stains could be removed. We instead replaced it. We charged you only for the vinyl in the kitchen due to the water damage and big tear. The amount owed is $1,558.66. The issue is that going purely off of the RCW, the statute, where repairs are performed or cleaning is performed by the landlord shall include a statement of the time spent performing repairs and the reasonable hourly rate charged. So the concern for the court is that we don't have that information listed here. What I do have is a lot more, so that I'm looking at just the cleaning line item in this. So just the $1,300, which I believe, or was it the carpet cleaning? That was the $599.70. Let me just double check that. That's right, because you had indicated that you originally quoted our $750, and then let's see here, where was that? Yeah, $599.70. I get this one. My apologies. Sorry, there's a lot of numbers floating around, so I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Actually, Miss Yates, why don't you clarify for me the cleaning that you did, that you performed yourself? What line item was that in the move out closing statement?
Hold on here.
And I know we talked about, you did it for about $150.
So the $599.70 is from ER flooring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
the
then-
third, yeah. Okay.
And then the $750 is with a whole bunch of other stuff.
I see. Okay.
the 1866.
So the 13, so when you're doing the 1,300, the cleaning line item for the move out closing statement, is that what you're referring to? It was 1,300 then 750, or was that just that 1,300? See that?
So 750 minus 1,300.
I'm just wondering if that's the cleaning. I'm just wanting to make sure because I don't think that you've met kind of the requirements. So I want to reduce that amount, but I also, you have met the requirements for other things.
So it has to be somewhere because it's 1,558.66.
Okay. So I will just take the 750 amount. So I'm not going to award, let's see, minus. So we had move out charges equal 5,158.66. I am not going to award the $750, so I'm going to subtract that from that amount just because I don't think it complies with the RCW. It doesn't indicate time spent performing the repairs and reasonable hourly rate. And you provided that testimony today, but it just needs provided to Miss Jennings for it to comply. So additionally, I am going to subtract, I am not awarding the hotel accommodations, so I'm going to subtract the $418.80. So here's where I stand. Looking at the photographs, the before photographs, the after photographs, and hearing the testimony today, this damage was far beyond normal wear and tear. There were holes in the wall. The carpets were, looking at all of the photos, there were multiple incidents where there was heavy stains, holes in the carpet. I think there was an earring in one carpet, in one hole. Just and it was more than just cleanliness, like average cleaning. This is beyond normal wear and tear. I expect the dings from the doorknobs the locks going into the hole in the wall. I kind of expect with kids, the scuffs on the wall, the normal cleaning things, the markers on some cabinets, that kind of stuff. The concern is that we have damage far beyond that, and the cleanliness is far beyond even that. What's really concerning was the sink. There was extensive water damage from what looks like, and a testimony indicated there was mold and mildew that needed to replace. I have extensive photographs of the damage around it, and honestly, looking at the damages that were caused and the amount of effort that it took to replace that and clean up the unit to get it to the point where it is in the after photos, is far more than they probably charged you, Miss Jennings. I don't think they violated the terms of their agreement. They provided you with the proper documentation within 30 days. So I am denying your claim. I'm also, so $3,600 for the security deposit. I find that it was valid. They withheld that appropriately. They provided you notice. They provided you documentation on October 30th, which is after the date they sent the move out closing statement, but all of the repairs and everything were done to show that afterwards, and it was charged far more than what they cited you in the closing statement. So I am taking I find that they validly withheld your security deposit based on the damage and the repairs and the cost of cleaning. I am going to reduce the amount based off of purely what I have, right? So the amounts that you're claiming, I have a lot of receipts for a lot of other things that go further beyond this amount that's being requested. So what I'm going to do, I have to do some math real quick. So that amount due was $1,558.66. And I'm going to subtract 750 and I'm going to subtract 418.80. So towards that amount, that was line item number, one second. your line item number 1 in the counterclaim, the excess damage to property. So instead of the $1,558.66 on that, I'm awarding $389.86. All right. And then, so I am denying Miss Jennings' claim. The security deposit was $3,600. And then there was, looking at the statute, was requested for the court to consider the statutory damage under RCW 5918-280, the landlord, if there was a finding, the court may, in its discretion, award up to 2 times the amount of the deposit. So she was requesting $3,600 on top of that. Since I did not find that they withheld the security deposit wrongfully, then I am not awarding the additional $3,600. At this point, it sounds like there was some situations going on in Miss Jennings' life that caused her to not renew the lease. The issue that I have is that the proper move-out notice was not brought to her attention. The breach of contract in that regard was not brought to her attention until this kind of got underway. If you were seeking that, I understand. Yeah, if you're seeking that, then a breach of contract would have been done potentially before hearing that and getting her the notice for that. So I am not going to award you the $3,600 for the no proper move out notice. So all of this, what it comes down to is that I'm awarding the Yates $389.86.
Heather left the rental with Gorilla Glue upon the floor. James and Rowena said they had to paint the walls and door. A hidden water leak caused severe mildew underneath the sink. The unapproved dog left backyard waste that caused a major stink. The judge upheld the move-out fees and let the landlords keep the gold. She granted $389 more for the damages and mold. Always give a 2-month written notice before your lease grows old.